Hello again, and this might be a good morning for you. Hopefully, it is. So, as we grow into this channel and we talk about different things, one thing I want to talk about, I guess, in this moment is how ideas come. I mean, I know everybody's had that experience where they're taking a shower or walking down the street and a flash thought comes in your mind. Where does it come from? I think that it could come from the ether, and I think that the brain is a receiver and a transmitter, and I've talked about that, I think, in my other video. And it came from Think and Grow Rich. Napoleon Hill was talking about it, and when I thought about it, it's like, could it be real? Maybe. I think it could. So, if it is true, if it is real, maybe that explains why you walk somewhere or something and it flashes through your mind. You know, people say, oh man, something just flashed through my brain. It went through it. I mean, when you think about electrons, about radio stations, I mean, today we hear about radio stations more common than 1,000 years ago, right? If you told somebody, hey, things can be traveled through the air, and people say you're crazy. But once we got radio, hey, that proved it works, right? So now, can our brains do that? I think it can. I think also ideas come from what you put in your mind. The more you put in your mind, the more you expand it, and the more you repeat that information, the more you can retrieve it faster, right? And as you retrieve those things and make combinations, those combinations become like new ideas and new thoughts. So it could be just the brain hitting the right synapse to that synapse, and boom, it lights up and flashes into your mind as an image, a thought, an idea, whatever. I'm not sure if we'll ever be able to detect that, at least not in the next 100 years. So the question is, where is it? What does it come from? I don't know. But if we keep our mind on saying, I want to keep tabs on it, and I want to be aware of these things, I want to use it, that's the good news. I think when Thomas Edison said, hey, I get a flash, right? And I think even Steve Jobs would say stuff like things would come into his mind. So I think that when you're thinking about a subject long enough, I think that your mind automatically works on it. It's a processor. It's going to process that information, even if you're thinking about it or not. Okay? So, my theory is if you put enough information in your mind and you keep, hitting those ideas, thinking about it, your mind starts to say, it's important. I need to think about these things. And I need to process these things. I got to make connections to things in the past and things around, even things around me that I see that I don't see. What I mean is it's there, but I'm not consciously thinking about it. Those things are being part of that information that my mind's working with. It's chunking it, churning it. And it doesn't matter that I don't know how it works. All that matters is, can I use that information to do things? And I think we all can. Everybody has this capability. And should we not hide it? No, we should explore it and use it, because I think that the more we leverage that, if more people do it, more ideas come out, more solutions to problems happen. So, what am I saying? I am saying that everybody at one time had some kind of intuition, thought, a flash that went through their head. While they're talking to somebody, something went through their head, and they said something, and that person, I was thinking the same thing. Could these minds be connecting? Possibly. According to Napoleon Hill, he talks about the meeting of the minds. When two or more are gathered in harmony, their minds start to connect. And I think when you look at the world and how vibrations and magnetism is, it's there. It's all kind of linked. And as a human race, we are connected. I mean, have you ever seen birds flying and they all all at the same time? What is this? Even I seen little bugs, or a whole group of bugs are going. They're all flying together. They're connected, and I think as us as a human species, we're connected, and we could probably do a lot more if we start focusing on how to tap into these things and utilize them and work in harmony. So, how does one pay attention and develop this? I think one, being aware of it, knowing that, hey, is this possible that I do get these flashes? Where do they come from? I don't know. Can I use it? Can I feed it? I think so. I think one way to feed it is, again, to read, to study, to learn new things, continuously grab new things and try to learn. You know, I was watching this forensic file thing. They were talking about bugs and how they use bugs to determine a time of death because of what species the flies that are there, you know, and you start to think, wow, that's interesting. And again, how long does a fly live from the time it's a larva, cocoon, to a fly to death? Very, very short lifespan. Our lifespan, anywhere from, 30 years to 120. I don't know, maybe even less than 30. I mean, but I'm thinking more of if you didn't get in an accident, right? Maybe 70, 80 as a male, maybe 80, 90 as a female. I don't know what those actuator tables are showing today, but when you think of a lifespan and you think about the bugs that have a different lifespans, and if you look at all the different millions and millions of bugs that are out there, how many different kinds, it's fascinating to know that there's that many out there. And then you look at the plant kingdom and you start to look at all the different plants that are out there. You know, the ones that are poisonous, the ones that are not poisonous, the ones that you can eat, the ones you can't eat. There's so much variety. And I think about, you know, the abundance of things that we can become aware of and really get excited and say, I want to explore these ideas. I want to learn about them. And you can cross pollinate. And what I mean by cross pollinate on that, if I learn about bugs, learn about plants, learn about humans, learn about different businesses out there, learn about different ideas, and you start to combine those, you're cross pollinating those, and the more you feed your mind with these ideas, the more material that your mind has to put together and feed back to you. So if it's not necessarily a mind connection, it's inside your own mind, the way you can grow it is by feeding it, putting things in, try to make those neural connections. And I said, I think this in a video before, that you're learning something new and you think you got it, and you're, oh, there, it just slipped away. Where did that go? Why did it slip away? I think it's because the neurons are trying to make a communication. When they connect, that electric thing lights up, but it's not strong enough. It's like if you looked at a light bulb, it's starting to glow, but then it goes out. The electricity was lost. And the thing in the mind, the electricity or the chemical biochemical that goes across, that shoots across, was not enough to keep it on. And if you think about the thought of that and keep coming back to it, sometimes you got to give your mind a rest. Take a day or two off, then come back to it and think about it again. And then you'll see that, oh, there's that connection. I'm starting to see it. And you get to hold on to it longer. A couple days later, you hold on to it longer. Pretty soon, you're able to hold on to that thought easily. I think it's like I was saying about riding a bike. At first, it's hard to balance and keep riding without crashing or falling. But pretty soon, you're able to ride with your no hands, pop a wheelie, bunny hops, all kinds of stuff. You ride a bike like you're running through a grass field. So simple. And I think that the more you exercise your mind in this way, you develop that skill to bring it back, hold on to it, and see it. The more you can see it in your mind, the better you are to hold on to it and actually work with it. I think when Tesla can see things in his mind and see how, the circuits are, he's been looking at circuits all the time. He's seeing this and he's thinking about it. I mean, if you look at Sherlock Holmes and how he would think about things, really work hard and break it apart, look at it this way, look at it that way, and then say, you know what, okay, I did what I could. I'm now going to go rest and watch a symphony or something. That's when all the ideas came. James Webb talks about this in his book on how to get ideas. And that book is a book that you must get. Again, learning how to take ideas, bring in these ideas, work with them in your mind, play around with them, let go, let your mind work on it, and see what comes out. I think we're a culture of cell phones. I think people are so much into their Facebook and this and that they're paying attention to that stuff outside. And that outside influence is making them feel a certain way, good or bad, right? So my thinking is, the computer or phone that you should be connecting to is your brain. You should be thinking more and working on developing that than spending time on the phone looking at Facebook stuff that, I remember a long time ago, someone said, oh, I got to go get a haircut. I don't want to go do it. Okay. And there's people commenting, oh, you look good. Don't worry about your hair. You don't have to get a haircut. I guess friends talk about those things. You understand what I'm saying? But if you're following that and you're distracted in that direction all day long, good luck. I think that you can spend your time differently, and that is working in your mind and saying, okay, how can I make it better? And I think the more you do these things and you start to see how things pop up and start to grow, again, grow, right? It's like a forest. You plant a couple seeds, you get a couple trees, you plant some more. A few years, you got a whole entire forest. Imagine taking the time to work and develop yourself. And after 5 years, as 5 years goes by fast, when you get done with that 5 years and you look back and you see how much you've grown, it is amazing. So follow me on this journey. I know this one may not be so much into details, but again, each one of these I want to try to get people kind of understanding that I'm talking about brain tunnels, the thoughts in your head. That tunnel is a synaptical piece, one to another. And those tunnels aren't one tunnel, there's multiple, like I guess string theory, right? It is many, many, many universes. And you've got billions of, I don't know, maybe a billion, millions and millions of neurons that are connecting. They connect in different ways depending on how you think, how you feel. Emotions come into play. And if we start to explore this, you will find that you can create a lot of things in your mind that can help you in your life, what you do. Has it helped me in my life? Sure. So let's take this journey together and see where it takes us. Brain tunnels.